Cool. So let's get started. Firstly, I'm excited to welcome everyone to Curiosity's Q3 platform update webinar. We've got some awesome updates to show off today. And with me, we have the great Toby Richardson. Toby is a test data expert with over a decade of experience helping some of the world's largest enterprises solve complex data challenges. He specializes in streamlining data delivery across the entire software development lifecycle, leveraging AI and model-driven approaches. And yeah, so thank you for joining and presenting today, Toby. But before I hand it over to Toby, we just wanted to talk a little bit about Curiosity. As you all know, we set the global standard in test data management and by empowering enterprises to unlock the full potential of their data. Building on decades of experience in unblocking enterprise data delivery, our pioneering approach transforms how enterprises manage their data. With our enterprise test data platform, your teams can deliver confidence and clarity at every step of their data journey. Through Discover, Act, Monitor, our three-step approach to test data management, we help enterprises gain deep understanding of their data while also enabling intelligent execution and the monitoring of the whole data ecosystem. We believe that Discover, Act, Monitor is a critical framework for TDM teams. And Toby will today speak about our approach and various improvements and new features the development team has added across these stages. So I think without further ado, Toby, please take it away.
Perfect. So there are three main features that I want to talk to you guys about today. A lot of them are very much based around speeding up your test data journey, really helping you get to value as quickly as possible. Now, the first one I want to talk about is the automatic creation of table groups, which is leveraging our AI capabilities. Now, as I'm sure you guys have found whilst using the tool, often entity relationship diagrams when we're exploring our data and we're trying to work out what groups of tables we want to be generating, it can be quite difficult to work that out when haven't been grouped together. Now, previously, this was a very manual task. So, for instance, if I had some tables which would be to create a customer and some order items, I would need to go and manually set those into a table group of customers if I wanted to help myself going on to the next steps. Now, what I'll be able to show you in a bit is actually we have got a ability now using our AI, and what it will go through is it will go and look at all your tables, and then it will go and automatically actually assign them to table groups. So if I just go ahead and also show that to you. So if we just go into here, yeah, perfect. So actually, if we just go, sorry, wrong. If I just go to that definition, decision here, perfect. Now, what I want to actually come and do is I want to come to my AI assistant, and you can see currently for this definition, I have no table groups defined. So I can just come to the AI assistant here. Now, to get this, if this isn't enabled into your workspace, please reach out to either your sales representative or your technical account manager, such as Harry Tobias or myself. Now, once the Curiosity AI helper is available and we are on inside our definition, we can actually go and click on this AI table grouping button. Now, what it will go away and do is it will go and look at all these tables that we've got, and it will start to actually look at them and say, okay, what table groups are going to be useful. Now, just so you can see a before and after, if I go and create an entity relationship diagram from this definition, this is how it currently looks, and there's currently no table groups in here. So once it has created the table groups, I'll be able to show you this screen in a different way with the table groups in here, and you'll be able to see the difference. So if I just close this down and it's coming down perfect. So we've now got some table groups. So we can see here that we've got a customer management and a sales order one. Now, if I go back and I go and create another entity relationship diagram, you can see here that these tables are now in different sections. So if I look at this customer management table group that it has created for me, it's looked at the contacts, which is joined into customers, And it also thinks that the bank identifier, customer order, and customer bank account tables are useful within that customer management section. Likewise, if I go and look at my sales orders, it's seen that we have a relationship between orders and order items, and it is put those into a table group together. Now, this can be really useful if I'm trying to break up my tables into different groups that I might want to do for my data generation. So it could be, for instance, that actually I want to start creating some orders within my within my database because I want to be testing some different types of orders. I know these are going to be the two different tables that I will need to create those orders. Now, previously, this could be quite a manual process. You would have to right click and then go add group. And you can see here that I'd have to manually go in and add a group. So let's call this test. Let's give this a description and give this, yeah, a color. There we go. And then what I'd have to do is actually start dragging these tables into here. As you can see, this is a much more manual process, and then being able to automatically get to this stage can save us a lot of time and actually can be really, really useful. So if I go on to the next one that I want to talk about is just going on to the next slide, is the auto population of masking rules. Now, previously, even though we had the defaults, which would be incredibly useful for setting default masking rules, we've now actually brought our masking data activity in line with our synthetic data generation activity, where we can go and actually ask the AI to look at the rules, look at the table, sorry, that we've got. It will go and look at our definition and scan as well, actually gather up all the information and identify what columns do need to be masked and make an educated suggestion on the type of rules that should be used. So if I show you this in action, just go to this activity that I created earlier. Here is a masking activity. In this one, we are just masking our employees tables. Here we have here. Now, as you can see, I've got some masking functions in here. Now, if I just get rid of, so what I've done is in our information bit, I've put first name. Now, these are notes that actually our AI will go and look at when it's looking to go and generate, to mask the data. So it will go and look at this, go first name, I will go and use the last, I will go and put in a first name masking function. Again, here I've got some information, it will say last name, and therefore it will help it choose a last name masking function. And if I just go and delete these rules here, now as you can imagine, this employees table is quite small, and therefore it wouldn't be too big a task to either go and click on our apply defaults or to choose some more complex masking rules quickly. But now we've gone to accelerate this process further with our AI rule generation now being applicable to the masking. So I can now go and click on this and it will go through the table, and it will, as I said before, it will look in a multitude of different places to get the information, whether that's in our data definitions, where we have a logical understanding of your database and the data that resides inside it, or it will be in the scan, which is done when we first connect to your data source, where it will be gathering a lot of good information around the metadata and also the quality of the data. Now, as we can see that it's just updated 6 rules. If I go now to my employees rule set, you can see that it's actually put back in the masking first name and the masking last name functions. Now, this can be incredibly, as I said before, this is really, really useful when we've got large number of databases with large number of tables and large number of columns. What I would always recommend whenever we're using any of our AI capabilities, it's always good to have a quick sense check to make sure the AI has interpreted the information correctly and has given us a correct rule. So the last new feature that I want to draw attention to is our ability to, we have actually brought in a quality score field for when we scan our tables. So previously, like we've had speaking to a lot of our customers, and they're saying that and having an idea of a data quality for their test data is really important to them. So what we've done, once we've done the appropriate scanning, I would just want to show you what we've come up with. So if I go to this scan here, we can see here on our right hand side that we've actually got a quality score. Now we're actually using the underlying LLMs that we connect to actually produce a data quality score for us. Now it will give it to us at a table level, but it will also tell us what it's at a column level. So, for instance, we think in this example, we think we've got a really good quality score for first name and last name, and it kind of gives you a bit of an idea in some of these descriptions. So, contacts given name, 302 distinct values, over 319 rows. So that's suggesting to us that we've got a good data quality score for these columns. Now, this is now part of our scanning. So if I just go and show you how to get there, if I just go to a database connection that we have, say I want to go to this one. Now, what I can now go, if I'm scanning our database here, what I can do is in our run scan VIP server section, there's now going to be a process called get schema metadata and analyze data. Now, when we go and kick this process off, it will go and start to populate a lot of the values that I was just showing you in the scan earlier. So for instance, it will populate our data quality. It will also be one of the many ways that we can actually get a row count. And it will also, if we go into, say, for instance, first name, it will also start to populate this analysis section here. So we can get an idea of what kind of data is in here. We can, obviously, this is not a numerical column, so this won't be populated, but we can get an idea of the minimum and maximum values. We can get an idea of the row count, distinct counts, and also whether it contains numbers or special characters. Now, if we go back to, let's see if we can find a table which has some numerical data in it. So for instance, if we go into order items and then go into unit price and go into analysis, we can see it's given us a minimum value and a maximum value as well. Now we can go it's also given us a bit of information here. We can also go further with this to populate these figures with our deep scanning abilities, which are in our profiling and scanning activities. So those are the three new features that I really wanted to draw your attention to. And I've just given you the demo there. So I just wanted to talk a bit more about some of our release highlights that we've had in the last quarter. So we can now promote system admin roles directly from the portal. Previously, this was a bit difficult and normally would be only set when the original owner was in the tool. We've talked about the automatic creation of table groups. We've improved the robustness of data activity upgrades. There were some very rare occasions where there would be times when the wrong definition and the wrong rule set would be chosen. We've now made that. We've now fixed those errors. We've also enhanced our data list wizard. So we've now got the in operator in there, and that's come up quite a few times with a lot of the clients that I've been working with. I've just shown you the quality score. We've enabled the return of test ideas from test rail forms. And we've also improved our field mappings that can now be imported into QTests. Now, there's many more other features. I would also point out to the cross database data discovery additional features that we've also brought into the tool, which are in the release notes. So I believe I'm handing back over to you now, Matt. Is that correct?
Yeah. Let me pull up that exact same slide. Hopefully you can see that. Thank you very much, Toby, for that. And yeah, as you mentioned, just looking back, you can find all of our release notes in our knowledge base at knowledge.qsdsoftware.ie. You can also find previous platform updates, our Q2, Q1, where we cover a range of other updates. But all in all, we hope that the presentation and just some of the small updates today kind of showcase that we're continuing to build the platform, continuing to iterate, and really improve the core of what we can do. And in general, of course, our platform covers every stage that we mentioned before, and Discover, Act, Monitor, with a range of capabilities in each stage. And hopefully a comprehensive range, right? From data masking, virtualization, orchestration, to modeling, cloning, subsetting, and much more. And all of these capabilities, as Toby just showed, are AI accelerated. Cool. And basically, that's why we believe that Curiosity Software, we've redefined what test data management can be. We have an end-to-end complete platform, and that enables people like you, US Today, and other organizations to really fully harness the power of their data and just keep pace with adoption, keep pace with innovation, and transform the way you're managing your data. Cool. So without, I think we've got a few bits left here today, which is going into the Q&A. If you do have any questions, please leave them into the chat. Actually, we do have a question here for you, Toby. Let me just have a look. How does the quality score impact the masking process? For example, if the score is less than expected, what happens?
Good question. So the quality score at this point is purely informative. So what that means is it will, whether you've got a 10 or a 1, it won't actually affect the masking process per se. Now, one thing we would say is if you've got a data quality score of 1 and you're using the AI to choose your masking rules, it would be worth putting additional scrutiny on the masking rules that is chosen. Um, as with a lot of AI processes, if you give it poor quality data, it tends to make poor quality choices. So in those cases, we'd either recommend increasing the quality score of your test data, or actually using a different approach, such as using defaults to choose your masking rules.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Toby. Cool. Just got another question here for you. Thinking about, you just showed off some of the AI features there. But generally, you stuck to the AI helper that we have. But I do believe our platform has a range of other, like, much larger, much more sophisticated AI features. Can you speak to some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a client who we've recently engaged with, where we're using a lot of neural networks to actually help us create the test data for them for synthetic data generation. And what we found is that within a matter of minutes, we've been able to create data activities where we can create statistically either similar or superior data to actually the test data sample that they are providing. So that stuff is very much in development at the moment, but that's been really exciting to see that come across, and the clients and customers that we're working with in partnership with that are really excited about that coming into the main release of the product. Also, I think on the previous webinar, I showed off the AI rule generation for synthetic data generation. I've just been using that a lot in my most recent project with some very complicated ERP data, and the AI was in that instance was really helpful because a lot of the information is publicly available because it's ERP. It was actually able to give us really good synthetic data generation rules for the vast majority of the rule set, and then it sped up the it massively decreased the amount of time that I needed to spend actually creating the rules on that project. So yeah, that's also something I would point out as well, because that's really, really helpful.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good answer there, Toby. Thank you. And then last question here is, why would you start with Discover before acting on the data you have? Why is Discover a key part of a test data journey?
Yeah, really good question. So whenever we're going for our test data journey, it's really important to understand what we're dealing with, right? So if we need to identify any soft foreign keys, if we need to, for instance, if we're doing synthetic data generation, we need to understand where our data needs to be referential integral. One of the one of the points in our current release notes is actually about finding those soft foreign keys between different systems, which if anybody's done any system integration testing, actually having data which is referentially integral between multiple different systems can be really challenging. Using that functionality, we can make that a lot more automated and a lot easier to do, as the tool automatically finds those foreign soft keys, finds those relationships where things need to be referentially integral, and allows you, and then powers our synthetic data generation rules, so it's realized within our synthetic data generation.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Toby. So I think we can keep it short and sweet and end it here today. So thank you again, everyone, for joining and for your questions. And Toby, of course, for the great presentation. It's been very knowledgeable today. If you'd like to carry on the conversation following this webinar, there are a number of ways you can get in touch with me or Toby. You can either get in touch via LinkedIn or email. We're both super keen to talk test data and testing, so feel free to reach out. Additionally, you can visit the Curiosity website to learn more about our platform and solutions. And you can follow Curiosity on LinkedIn to stay up to date with our latest news. And of course, as I mentioned at the start, all of these links and the slides and the recording will be shared in a follow-up email tomorrow. Additionally, we're hosting another webinar on the 12th of November. You can visit our website or LinkedIn to register today and join us, so join Toby and Harry actually, for how to turbocharge your test data with AI. In this webinar, Curiosity's Head of Solutions Engineering, Harry, and the one and only Toby will show you how AI can revolutionize your development processes and test data management. Don't miss this opportunity. I think we're going to have a really good webinar. And if this one's, I think it's great. I think everyone should register for this one. But we also recently had another webinar, how we explored the testing of LLMs, which I think is also was a really good webinar. So I'd also recommend checking that out. Again, you can find that on our website or on our LinkedIn. So I think all that remains to be said is thank you everyone for joining, and a massive thank you for Toby for presenting today. So see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much, guys.